What's up YouTube, Jeff back again from DopeTechDaily.com. Today I'm bringing you guys my 72-hour impressions on the LG V20. Now if you haven't seen my unboxing and initial build quality impressions, go check that out. I will link it below. Now I know a lot of people are waiting on this. It took me a while, I do apologize. But right now I'm currently reviewing the LG V20, also doing the Pixel phone, so I have to alternate days using them as my daily driver. Sometimes it takes me a little longer to get up a video than I'd like. So today I want to talk about initial impressions of some other things on this phone. The fingerprint scanner, I already talked about the build quality, so again, you can check out that other video. Overall, my impressions haven't changed on the build quality. I think the phone is well built, much better built than the LG G5, which you guys know I wasn't a big fan of. I definitely like the way the front looks on the V20 here. You got a nice looking screen. It's not too chunky on the top or the bottom. Still think they could probably get rid of that LG logo there at the bottom, but it's not the biggest deal in the world. I want to talk about the fingerprint scanner though. I want to talk about the display. I want to talk about the camera. I want to talk about the battery life. Basically everything I didn't cover in the last video. Now we did talk a little bit about the fingerprint scanner and I've had great experience using it time and time again. My opinion really hasn't changed much on that. It's very, very fast. It's very fluid, has a very high accuracy rate. I think it's just about as good as any of the other fingerprint scanners this year. There really isn't a huge gap in quality in terms of the fingerprint scanners in any of the phones with the rear scanner. I do like the fact that on this particular one, this is actually sort of built in very nicely with a nice divot there. You can easily find it. The one on the V20 was a little bit harder to use and it was also a lot less accurate. So LG really, the V10 from last year, so LG really improved from the V10 to the V20 when it comes to the fingerprint scanner. Now the next thing I want to talk about is something that some people mentioned in the comments section of the video. I want to do a little Q&A answering some of the questions on the first video as well. Someone was asking about my comments on the display accuracy and the color accuracy compared to the AMOLED displays on the S7, the S7 Edge. I said that this colors on here tend to be more accurate on the LCD panels from LG, and that is true in general, but I have noticed in the time having this phone that the V20 tends to have a very cool display. I don't know if it translates very well through the video, but you guys can kind of see here, actually it should translate pretty good. You look at the whites here in my Gmail, you can see the white is very, very white. There's really not much warmth to the white at all. Now I tend to like the cooler colors, but when I compared it to the new Pixel that I got as well as my iPhone, it's pretty clear that the colors on the display for the V20 are very, very cool, which also makes certain shades of blue look a little bit strange. Someone in the comments pointed out that someone did a display accuracy test, found the V20 can't even reproduce the color teal, and I would say that's definitely a possibility, as I have noticed that this is a much cooler display than I've seen in other LG LCD panels. So I don't know if that's particular to only a couple units or everyone's unit. If you have a V20, chime in below. Let me know what you think about the display. The next thing I want to talk about a little bit is the camera. Now I did delete some of my shots I took outdoors on here, but I can show you guys a few of the shots I've taken with this camera. These are over on Instagram and Twitter if you want to check them out. This is a picture I took of my Just Don 2 sneakers. You guys know I'm a huge sneakerhead. The detail and quality on this picture I was really impressed with. This is actually here in my office on Friday, casual Friday. I wear my sneakers here. I was very impressed with the quality. It is a little too bright maybe on the shoes themselves. If you actually look at the picture, you can see a little of the detail is overblown. But actually if you zoom in, you do get very good detail. It just gets the color accuracy in terms of the camera reproducing the color a little bit off in that case. I also took a picture of the Xperia XZ here in its new case that I bought for it off of Amazon. There are not many case options for that phone, but I got a cheap plastic case. Detail here is pretty good again, but there's actually some dots on the case itself, and you can't really see that detail too much, so the V20 does lose that detail, but that is very fine detail, so not a huge problem. The overall quality of the lighting, even in low light situations, seems to be pretty good. I took this picture in my office, little army man statue I have here. Detail again is very, very good in terms of macro shots. Now towards the edges, there's a little bit of fraying towards the edges here. You get a little bit of blur here towards the edges of the photo, but very, very clear detail here in the center. The actual focus of the picture is very, very good. Now I did take some landscape shots, some outdoor shots that were also good. I took a few indoor shots, which you guys may have seen me compare to the Pixel camera. I illustrated some of the issues with the lens flare and the halo effect that the Pixel camera is having. I compared that to the V20. The V20, when compared to the Pixel, I'll try to do a full comparison between the two. It has shots that are sort of blown out a little bit more, a little less detail, and also the color reproduction in terms of the camera and what the software is doing is also not quite as good. One example, if you look at the picture I posted with the Pixel, this is also on Instagram. These headphones, they actually look a little more gold in this picture. They're actually rose gold headphones, and that detail is captured a little bit better by the Pixel. This one's actually blown out a little bit. But again, the Pixel suffers from that weird lens flare halo effect, which is also not ideal. Overall, I was pretty impressed overall with the pictures this camera was able to take. I still need to test some of the video. Taken a few videos. The audio capture seems to be very, very good, what you would expect. The manual video controls are back and they're very, very good. If you really want control of your camera and everything that you're going to do with the camera, the LG V20 is great. Also, a few people mentioned when using the wide-angle camera, they saw some distortion issues. I did see this as well when I used the wide-angle camera for a few shots that I exported to my computer. I'll have to post those. But when you use the wide-angle camera, you kind of expect to see distortion in certain parts of the picture at the very bottom or the top. That's just a function of taking those wide-angle shots. I'll look a little closer and see if I see anything too weird. I didn't notice anything out of the ordinary when it comes to that. The next thing, of course, is battery life. Now, I posted some shots over. This is also a black theme. It's called the high contrast theme. A couple people were asking if there were any dark themes like I had for the S7 Edge. This is a dark theme called high contrast I got from the LG theme store. I highly recommend it. I really, really like the way it looks. Now, battery life, I posted screenshots over on my Twitter. The battery has been quite good. I haven't been using it much today because this has been sort of a Pixel day. I've been working with the Pixel a little bit more. But the screen on time and everything on my first couple of charge cycles was very good. It's been mainly in standby today, so these stats aren't very representative. I did take a screenshot, though. Let me see if I can show it to you in the gallery here. The screenshot I have over on Twitter of my battery life the other day on my first charge cycle. It's right there, actually. So we had 1 hour and 42 minutes and 8 seconds with 74% remaining. That's about 6 hours screen on time. I ended up getting just about 5 hours and 45 minutes out of this charge cycle. That's very, very impressive. And I would say so far the V20's battery life has surprised me. If you couple that with the fact that you do have that removable battery on here, that makes this a very appealing option. Throw an extra battery in your back pocket, take it with you, then you've got 6,400 milliamp hours, and the first battery is already getting very, very, very good battery life. So the battery life, very impressive. The secondary screen I found very useful. You can now put your schedule up there. You can see what you have coming up in the day. See, I've got my name there. You can put whatever you want, custom text. You've got some tools in the toolbar. You've got your most recently used apps, and then also some apps that you can pen up here. I pen Hangouts, Flamingo, Android Central. And then these are the most recently used apps, the gallery, settings, Gmail, backdrops, and YouTube Studio. So it gives you a lot of options to choose from. You can also get your notifications up there when you're playing games or watching a video, which I also find very useful. One thing that I did find a little annoying, some people asked me about backlight bleed. It's kind of hard to illustrate. I'll try to do a separate video in a dark room. There is some backlight bleed still on this LCD, which was a problem last year with the V10. It's not nearly as serious, but if you run your secondary screen while the screen is off, which a lot of people want to do, because that's one of the main advantages of having the secondary screen, you can run this while the main screen is off, get your notifications. You're definitely going to see light bleed if you have that in a dark room. So, I mean, that's kind of expected because this screen is lit and this screen is not, but it's pretty bad. The screen up here lights up this whole entire top rectangle. So you're going to see the light bleeding from the secondary screen all the way down into this top rectangle. Now that's not a huge issue, but it's a little annoying when using it at night, so much so that at night I've been turning off my secondary screen. And if you guys want to do that, all you got to do is go into display, and actually in the tab view here, when it's in list view, you've got the secondary screen, it's its own option. You can choose show when main screen is off, and turn that off, and then I've just been leaving it on when the main screen is on. So that's one thing I've noticed. The light bleed is still there. It's not as prominent, not as big of an issue as it was with the V10. It's a pretty huge issue, but it is something to keep in mind with these LG LCD displays. So overall, in terms of performance, it's been very snappy. I've played some games. I've been using it. It does have a little bit of animation lag. I compared it to the Pixel, and I'll try to do a speed test so I can show this off. It does have a little bit of animation lag. You can see it takes a second in order for it to launch apps. It takes quite a bit longer than the Pixel to launch individual apps. which I would expect. We've seen that the Pixel is one of the smoothest Android phones out there. But in terms of everyday experience, I would say it's smoother than the Galaxy Note 7 was. It's smoother than my S7 Edge Snapdragon 820. I would say this phone is on par with the S7 Edge Exynos version, which I did a video on last week revisiting that. In terms of overall UI lag and everything like that, there's a little bit there, but it's nothing so serious and hasn't bothered me yet at all. And a little bit of animation lag, which of course you can turn down in the developer options. So my main concern right now with this phone, I guess, is the display, the backlight bleed, and that color reproduction that isn't quite as good as I had hoped it would be. I was hoping it'd be a little bit better. Otherwise, the camera is good. I still need to do some in-depth comparisons with the Pixel and S7 Edge. It's very good, and you have all those great controls. The other thing that I didn't get a chance to mention, try not to make this video too long, your hi-fi audio, the quad DAC. I've been listening to some music on there with my Sennheiser headphones, all my different headphones, and I got a lot of pairs. Beats, I know a lot of people don't like those. Monster, Sennheiser, Audio Technicas, and anything you listen to on here sounds great. Especially if you have a really, really nice pair of headphones that reproduces nice mids. If you're an audiophile, you're going to love the quality here. I'm going to try to do an in-depth comparison of the audio quality. I know some other people have done these, like Jerry from Android Central, and I really enjoy the work he's done. I'll see if I can do something similar to that, compare the audio quality to the HTC 10 and some of these other phones like the Axon 7 that also have the hi-fi DAC built in. All right, so that's an overall overview. I'm pretty impressed with the phone, just those few little minor complaints that I mentioned. Let me know what else you guys want to know about the phone. I'll try to do a few more videos like the comparisons I've mentioned. Got a lot more stuff coming up on the Pixel as well. You guys can find me at dopetechdaily.com, Google+, Instagram, and Twitter. The link's in the description. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy my content so I can make future videos like this. I appreciate you guys checking out this one, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks a lot for watching.